Lucia has a dream like everybody else.
Yeah, now. Yeah, now.
She is determined to be a singer, like her mom.
Everyone is special in their own way.
Yes, I. It's your boy Lucia. I am back.
LaShawn, too, popularly known as Glatter, would probably want the adulation of an audience.
It's really mouth again.
And these students just want to practice and practice and to take their place main stage. For many years, for decades actually, students with special needs never got the priority attention they deserved. It did not help that public shaming and discrimination kept most indoors.
People were embarrassed about special needs, that parents who had children with disabilities would keep them hidden in their homes. You would know that there's a person there with a special need. You'd hear sounds, but often not see that person.
Some of these students, in time, made it to mainstream schools, but they soon found that the environment was far from welcoming. When they eventually exited the system, they were not prepared for the real world.
So they come out from, 0 to 3 years old, from that age group, and if they are not diagnosed and tracked, it means that they fall through the cracks and their issues are not addressed. So you end up with somebody who's going through the school system, ends up age 18, 19, 20, and their needs have not been catered to.
Critical resources needed to realize their full potential were in short supply. These students and their teachers wished for opportunities and resources available to mainstream schools. Now that is changing. They are getting much needed support because of the Education Quality Improvement Project EQUIP, based in the Ministry of Education, with funding from the Caribbean Development Bank and the Government of St. Lucia.
So the EQUIP is really designed to ensure that every child has the opportunity to maximize his potential, and even the parents of those children have the skill sets or the ability to really work with those children. Likewise, the teachers, the principals, and we're hoping, of course, by extension, the community members.
What is happening now is different in a sense, because we have now a project, the Education Quality Improvement Project, that now spans 3 ministers of education. And it is the biggest effort, I think, of the government of St. Lucia in bringing resources to the special needs subsector.
Great job, guys.
The ministry has recognized that if we are to support or to advance the agenda of inclusion, which is really a global agenda, there is need to really ensure that all learners are adequately catered to.
Special education is finally getting the long overdue attention it deserves.
And so for this particular project, our mandate really is to ensure that there is adequate provisioning for learners with special education needs.
The advocacy that led to a project like EQUIP was done in large measure by the parents of special needs students.
Most of our special schools were established not by government entities, but by a combination of concerned citizens, parents of children with special needs, and maybe 1 or 2 other voluntary-minded persons. So we have had Peace Corps, we have had various service agencies in St. Lucia, the Lions Club, and these kinds of agencies. So that combination of persons have come together and said something needs to happen for the education of children with disabilities.
These interventions by parents did not go unnoticed and eventually led to the Education Quality Improvement Project with its comprehensive approach to special needs education.
This is a season of change and growth for special education that cannot be compared to anything that has happened in the past. This is new, and all of the persons responsible for this happening should be commended.
Go on, have a go. Make a space.
Teacher training for special education centers was a key component of the Education Quality Improvement Project.
For many years now, we have had teachers working with students with special needs who themselves have had no specialized training for that field.
They've been given the mandate for special education, but they have not been trained. And so what we're trying to do is to look at that underserved area and train as many people as we can.
EQUIP explored an alliance with Mount St. Vincent University in Canada. They had developed a track record of curating tailor-made programs for special education. They welcomed the opportunity to train special education teachers from St. Lucia.
And they were quite open to it. Wasn't a problem. They had the faculty, they had the wherewithal. So all it required was to tweak some of their offerings and put it into something that could fit our needs.
So the mandate of the MSVU was to design the specialized curriculum and then deliver it to a cohort of 75 teachers.
And we have two main classes of teachers in that. We have teachers who work at special schools, and the second group is special educational needs teachers who work in mainstream schools but giving support to students who are having challenges in the mainstream.
The teachers who were privileged to be part of the first cohort appreciated the opportunity to get formally trained. The special needs schools were thrilled to have their teachers participate in the program.
This was an opportunity to standardize training across schools. It was an opportunity for teachers who are in the system for a while to, revise what they already know.
So my class came up with like a herb garden project.
There were 75 teachers in total, and our center benefited by having 13 teachers on staff who were actually part of that one-year program in professional development for special needs.
After every course, whatever was taught then or whatever, we picked up strategies or whatever was we implemented right there and then on the field, because we're at school and doing the program. So we had enough leeway and enough space for us to actually make something happen there.
Forward going in the strokes. Forward going in the strokes. Right. Forward going in the strokes. Yeah. Go all around.
I think for me personally, one of the courses that I enjoyed the most was UDL, Universal Design for Learning. And I think that it really gives anybody with special needs an opportunity to be able to succeed in life.
Topics such as the EDIA, where you have equity, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility, is something that we could use every day.
We have to go through this process of this training because we're dealing with special needs children, we're not dealing with normal children.
A lot of the courses I did enjoy because I actually saw my students in those courses. It's even helped me to calm down a lot as a parent and understand why children go through the things that they go through, or why they say the things that they say, or why they lash out in certain ways.
There are 12 marbles in there, and the students should be able to put the marble in the hole. This program, I think, was one of the best I have participated in. I have been to several training programs, and for me, the EQUIP program was really tailored to fit special needs.
The teachers that are coming in now, right? These programs will be good for them.
Oh yes, I think every teacher will benefit from the EQUIP program because it's really enhancing your skill. Even those you already know, it really enhances and make you better.
I would say a big thank you to Mount St. Vincent. I find the course was very informative and thought-provoking. It gave us an opportunity to reflect on our practices and enhance our performances with the students.
This is my opportunity to say thank you, EQUIP, on a job well done, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
EQUIP believes the training program has marked a turning point in special education in St. Lucia, especially with the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College ensuring continued training of teachers.
And that was very, very important to the EQUIP because we wanted, of course, to ensure that we had sustainability. We wanted to ensure that our tertiary level institution got an opportunity for advancement and development, and that the SASSC became more intimately involved or more integrally involved in capacity development within St. Lucia's education sector.
The teachers who completed the certificate course in special education held an in-person graduation ceremony to celebrate a year of sacrifice, commitment, and personal achievement.
This evening, we pay homage to the new special needs teacher, the one who not only possesses a passion for our diverse learners, but also the one who is trained, qualified, and now has the techniques, skills, and professional abilities required to meet their needs.
You care about these kids. You're willing to come out on the evenings that we did the classes. You're willing to put it into practice. You're willing to have those difficult discussions because you care about those kids, care enough to improve yourself and to move forward with that.
Graduates, as the Ministry of Education celebrates with you your successful completion of this training program, it is important to note that this is not the end, but merely the beginning of an important mandate as ambassadors for change and inclusivity within St. Lucia's education sector.
Listen to the sound here in my heart.
The Sufra Special Education and Rehabilitation Center also had its songbird on show, Maria Charles.
All the time has come for my dreams to be heard. Ain't what I mean, but your silent turn into your wall. All 'cause you want
The graduation celebrated musically talented students from the Donata School. The 75 teachers who comprised the first cohort of trainees are now equipped to implement the many ideas and concepts explored through the online courses by Mount St. Vincent University.
The graduation ceremony was the icing on the cake, if you want to say it, for a long 10-month experience.
As a student of the course, I was able to learn a lot that I will be able to implement working with my students. So I am very happy that this course is on so that more teachers will be educated and sensitized, and it will better the experience of other students with special needs in the education system.
This is a first step toward a better future for the students who are involved in special needs, students in special schools, as well as students in regular school who are being integrated into the classroom by their teachers.
The special education program will continue, this time facilitated by instructors from the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College.
We had 11 faculty of Sir Arthur trained as co-instructors by the MSVU team. So as MSVU enrolled the modules and delivered the training to the 75 teachers, we had the faculty of Sir Arthur who have been nominated to serve as co-instructors, observing the delivery of this program by the MSVU team and seeing how best they can pattern after this or adapt it or adopt it within the local context.
Yes, I am elated that it will continue because it will give other persons or the teachers the opportunity to be trained. More children will be able to have teachers who understand better and are better sensitized and better trained to work with students with special needs.
There were teachers who benefited from EQUIP-sponsored scholarships.
In collaboration with the Micro University in Jamaica, EQUIP trained a cadre of teachers actually on island, and we were part of that cadre. So 3 of our teachers are actually reading assessors.
We are fortunate and we are elated that one of our teachers was chosen to study speech and language therapy.
The COVID-19 pandemic forced schools in St. Lucia to make greater use of the internet and electronic devices to engage and keep the interest of students. Equip contributed significantly to making that a reality for the special education centers.
We also provided tablets to quite a few of the STEM students during, of course, the pandemic. And even outside of that, we've also provided devices for the teachers of children with special education needs.
We received 42 tablets, which came in very handy, especially for the online instruction that we had to take part in because of the pandemic. Teachers also received laptops as well, which also assisted them in online learning, also assisted them in their daily planning, etc.
We found that our students, 21st century students, are very much into the technology. So we were able to be armed with those devices, and it was really good at the time during COVID-19 and school was closed. One of the areas that they were introduced to was the Google Read and Write.
You have the speech to text if the child speaks properly but has issues with writing, then that can be used.
They enjoyed the tablet. On a Friday afternoon, they would be eager to ask me for the tablets, and you know, they would give me that little reminder in the morning and tell me, "Miss, can you put our tablets to charge for us?" Because they would want it in the afternoon.
When your children are engaged in activities they like, you get less behavior issues.
You'll be fine.
The CDB-funded EQUIP also made sensory rooms available to the Soufrière Special Education and Rehabilitation Center and the Lady Gordon Opportunity Center.
Touchdown. Does it feel like this one?
We have had the opportunity to equip our sensory room with the devices, with the equipment.
Sensory rooms are designed to provide therapy with special lighting, music, and other amenities.
This room has really made a difference in our school. From the oldest to the youngest, they all want to come here. I would love to get more devices for my older students because it really does cater to the younger students. So for the new students, it's always a novelty. The younger ones, it's always a novelty. Every time they come, I try a different thing and they're happy and you can see the change.
Bestie, best friend, whatever.
You could have relaxation therapy. You could have light stimulation. And also we have the lighting balls that they could sort of strengthen the hand-eye coordination skills. This is a compression vest, not to be confused with a weighted vest, okay?
There are persons with autism or on the autism spectrum who require some levels of physical pressure.
So this is like sort of basically giving a hug to the student. You know how a hug makes you feel comforted and relaxed? We do this with the vest. Just as when you're feeling down or sad or not, you reach out to a friend for a hug, the compression vest allows you to provide that same sort of feeling to a student who has behavioral issues.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, we have our Commissioner of Police here. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence here.
Public sensitization and support are key to changing attitudes towards people with disabilities.
And for the entire term, our children have worked really hard on their various projects.
The special education centers organized several outreach activities to promote their respective schools and to solicit greater support from the communities within which they existed.
School and community working together, collaborating to make things much better.
The Lady Gordon Opportunity Center showcased a range of activities that illustrated how the Life Skills program made students more independent and entrepreneurial.
So we have a life skills program as well, where those students are really the ones that are less academically inclined. So we did a life skills program.
They're very excited. They're very excited. Not having to just sit down and do work, mathematics, language-based work and everything, but actually being able to do something technical. Being able to stand up and hold a machine, being able to operate a camera, so to speak.
Welcome to the kitchen garden.
The Life Skills program is wide-ranging and showcases the artistic creativity of many students. the quality and depth of creative talent is impressive. The Viewfort Special Education Center also held an open house which allowed an insight into their life skills program.
Cards for various occasions.
One key objective is independence.
This is also another work that the children do, medical books, which we supply to the Miku Health Center.
The program seeks to make the students employable or entrepreneurial.
Are done by the students. They fold the paper, get stapled together and binded.
EQUIP has given us this opportunity for us to showcase the talents and the abilities of our students by having a project-based learning atmosphere for this term. And so for the third term, our students have been richly engaged in hands-on activities.
We are in heaven all the way. That's why we're different.
There was also a fun component, allowing students to express themselves through music and dance.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are the SUFRE Special Education and Rehabilitation Center, and today we are out here exhibiting some of the students' work.
The SUFRE Special Education and Rehabilitation Center took its open day activities to the bus terminal not far from the SUFRE waterfront. It gave the public an appreciation of the entrepreneurial potential of students at the school.
We have students from the life skills who did banana muffins. We have students from the agriculture we have seedlings on sale. We did t-shirts, we did mugs and so on. So we are already showcasing our students' talent. So this can be as a form of an employment for the students.
Most of the times we look at those children like they are undeserving, they don't fit in public. I think this is an awareness to bring to the public that they are very creative, they are very intelligent children at that institution as well.
All hands are there. It's really mouth again.
One of the school's top performers seized the opportunity to showcase his talent and to deliver an important message.
Just read a book, your book will be your full, load be your full, and stay in school. Use your mind and play it cool, play cool. We are in.
The EQUIP is also facilitating some infrastructure work involving 2 special needs schools. The Donata School had to abandon its original home at Lepansi and is now housed in temporary quarters at the former Girls Vocational School.
Our waiting list keeps on getting longer and longer, and we are limited in the number of students we can actually enroll every year because of the availability of space. It's not impossible to have a waiting list of 100 students. So a new facility is more than needed. It's needed like yesterday.
Under EQUIP, a new school is to be built. The search is on for a new location. The Viewfort Special Education Center has also outgrown its premises, and there too is a long waiting list.
So part of the plan is to construct a bigger facility that can house more students. As I've said to you, we have improved our surveillance and identification. Because we are identifying more students who need special school placements, we need for these schools to have a bigger capacity to take in more students. So that's what we're looking forward to for the Donata School and the Special Education Center in Viewfort.
The Education Quality Improvement Project has another key mandate: a review of St. Lucia's Education Act. This will influence the entire education system.
The impact will be on all schools because we're changing the framework now, how we run education, how we do education.
There are many deficiencies as we go through the process. We recognize within the Education Act. We have new technology coming on board, new dimensions. So right now we are at the opportune time to factor in some of these elements into the Education Act.
The review of the Education Act will also lay the groundwork for the development of a long overdue policy on special education.
Is there a policy of this country that addresses how we proceed to address and how we proceed to put a legal framework on special education?
It's going to be a complete overhaul of the Education Act. I am excited to see an expansion of the section that addresses special education. Right now, it's really about 3 sections of the Education Act that speaks to all of special education. We think that there are more areas for consideration that should be incorporated in there.
We are now doing a curriculum review with a special focus on incorporating special education needs.
What is happening now is that they are going to have well thought out guidance incorporated within the national curriculum that can help them to know how to serve that population of students whose learning conditions and requirements are different from that of the typical child.
EQUIP is making a huge investment in special needs education, but the project will not have the desired effect if students with special needs continue to be stigmatized. There's been some attitudinal change, but more needs to be done.
It is not where it needs to be as yet. There still is a measure of stigmatization associated with special needs. Even some of the schools that serve children with special needs are viewed in certain negative ways that need to change. But I am grateful that it is no longer what it used to be, although there is a lot of room for improvement.
The entire society needs to be actively involved in making a difference. Parents need to continue and possibly intensify their advocacy.
Lobby your parliamentary representative, lobby ministers of education, lobby your clergy, anyone who is in a position of authority who can help to move the needle on behalf of the child. We want to see parents having an active voice, a national voice that can speak to the needs of children with special needs.
I